What's good, YouTube? It's Rico here, and I've got a deck profile for a deck that I played at my locals tonight that I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. This was the thing I mentioned in that 20-minute video I posted earlier this morning about how I'm not really the biggest fan of how combo has evolved. And I said I had like a deck I was working on and tested to see if it would work out. This is the deck. It is Invoked Synchro Dragoon. And basically how it came about was I realized that the one card Needle Fiber plays could end by itself on Dragoon and Herald of the Arclight. And then I realized that if you threw Alistair the Invoker into it, you could also end the Makaba. And, the Invoked engine and the Dragoon package already just, kind of really mesh well together. Like, Invoked Dragoon is a thing that existed in the OCG. So, I don't know, I just, the idea was that if my opponent just left me completely uninterrupted, then you ended on 3 negates, and that's, really hard to break through. If your opponent did disrupt you, there's still a decent chance you at least end on 1. Oftentimes you can end on 2. So, yeah, it worked out really well. I went 3-1 at my locals tonight. I played against Infernal Knight, Fluffle, Dogmatica Invoked, which was my friend, and Adamantipator, and the only one I lost to was my friend on Dogmatica Invoked. And there was some pretty critical misplays I made in game 1, one in particular that cost me the entire game. And then game 2, I feel like I played stuff for the most part properly, but he had 2 Nadir Servants, and I negated the first one, and he just played the second one. But yeah, so, I did enjoy it. I felt like I actually had to do some decision-making as opposed to, lol, look at this combo. But it also has that auto-win aspect of I have a combo turn 1 that could potentially win me the game if my opponent doesn't stop it. So, yeah, it really worked out. So yeah, let's get into it. And I do have a build of this that doesn't play, the Synchro package, and because, anticipating if and when we get a ban list, I would hope that they ban Linkross, and if they ban Linkross, then this combo is just completely irrelevant, and I would just play Invoked Dragoon, or just switch to Invoked Dogmatica, or just play something different entirely. Yeah, let's get into it. So, first off is the Invoked package, 3 Alistair, 3 Meltdown, 2 Invocation, and 1 Terraforming. Nothing special about that. Sometimes I really like the idea of 3 Invocations just because the card's not bad to draw, and it makes it so that, if you draw Alistair and Invocation, then, Ash and Veiler mean literally nothing. But it's only good if your opponent has the disruption. So, I don't know, it's probably not correct to play 3. But, God, just hard drawing Invocation is really good sometimes. So, yeah. And then I'm actually going to show the hand traps next, which are 3 Ash, 3 Gamma and Driver, and then 3 Imperm. These are the ones I main, and then I side 6 more. That way I have 15 for combo matchups. But I think these are the most important ones to main. Impermanence is just, the most generically useful one outside of Gamma. Impermanence is, the easiest one to use in most situations. Gamma is just the most powerful one. In the situations where you can play Gamma, it is just a blowout. And then Ash is, average in most cases, but it's, one of the only cards that can beat Nadir Servant, and I think that alone, is really, really important about it. It also stops Red Eyes Fusion, which, if people realize that, dedicated Dragoon decks can max out Red Eyes Fusion, that card is just, a huge pressure play. That also makes Ash really important. Just the sheer existence of Nadir Servant and Red Eyes Fusion, I feel, makes Ash really, really vital. Yeah. And, in worst case scenarios, if you open, Ash and one of, the tuners you can special summon, that makes Needle Fiber. So, yeah. Yeah, I didn't really feel like I needed it anymore. An early build of this, I was also playing Veiler, but I ended up siding it, just because I felt like outside of combo, it was, a pretty redundant card. And, it lets you play Selene, but I didn't feel like I needed Selene. There's so many easily special summonable monsters in this deck that I felt like I didn't need to climb with Selene to get to access code, so, yeah. And then for the tuners, I play 3 Adhara, 3 Crusadia Arborea, 1 DD Lamia, and then to go with the DD Lamia, I play 3 Dark Contract with the Gate, and 1 emergency teleport, which just summons Gamma. So I'm become really fond of Adhara and DD Lamia since I've used them in Infernoble Knight. And I think that was kind of where this idea came from, where I wanted to do something with like the needle fiber combo, but I didn't want to play Eldritch. One, because I don't have it and don't really want to buy the core, because if they ban Linkross, then I probably won't even really want to play Eldritch. And I just don't really care for the cards as a whole. But like I really like Dark Contract with the Gate, and Adhara is another level 1 tuner that doesn't conflict with Alistair. Crusadia Arborea was like the last edition. I was actually playing Magician's Souls before this, because Magician's Souls dumping like a light spellcaster and like being able to like send meltdowns to draw is like really powerful. But Magician's Souls is not a tuner, so even though like there was potential for really powerful plays with it, it and Alistair by itself was a bit more subpar than I was hoping for. So I like scoured like the list of like tuners that could special summon themselves, and I found Crusadia Arborea, which I can't believe I forgot about. Yeah, and Arborea is amazing. Like if you like, obviously like Alistair make Almirage summon Arborea is combo. If you have one of these and you have to summon Arborea, you can make Linkuriboh with them, so that's also an option. But yeah, I'm really glad I put Arborea in. It's been really useful. So yeah. And then the Red Eyes cards, which is this Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon, and Red Eyes Fusion. Because this is like the Synchro variant, I feel like you only need one Red Eyes Fusion. Herald of the Arclight makes it so you're only gonna ever resolve this once. Like you can't Magicalize Fusion because Herald of the Arclight is gonna banish these. In the version I have for in case Linkross gets banned, where I just play the Invoked and the Dragoon package, I'm planning on maxing this out because this is just like honestly pretty good to draw. Just because if your opponent doesn't have Ash, it's just a free Dragoon. And I'll probably play a Magicalized Fusion to summon a second Dragoon. But yeah. And then the other cards in the deck are just generic, like generically useful, powerful cards. Would be 3 Forbidden Droplet and 3 Tactics Talent. I don't feel like I don't need to explain Tactics. Droplet is kind of like this deck. It makes Dragoon, but it doesn't really have an answer to Dragoon in the main deck. And Droplet is kind of just one of the best answers. Like it's just Droplet and Talents can both answer Dragoon, and Droplet does it easier as long as it's not backed up by like Herald, for example. I guess it depends on like what you expect to play. Like if I was expecting to play a lot of like heavy combo like Adamantipator and shit, I would probably main Valor and then side this. But my locals is like primarily it's a lot of like, for one, there's a lot of Dogmatica players, and some of them are like catching on to just like teching the Red Eyes package in just for a blowout, and then there's just other people who are just playing decks that can combo into Dragoon, or you have Dragoon as a backup plan, and Droplet helps with them also. But like this could be Valor if you feel like you don't really need to deal with Dragoon, but I feel like Dragoon is gonna be relevant enough that I feel like this should be mained. And it's just like a generically good card anyway, so. And then the last card is Upstart Goblin. I actually feel like because the Red Eyes cards add so many more like engine requirements to the deck, like you gotta play Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then you gotta play Driver for Gamma, because Gamma's too good not to play. Like, so, I feel like it's not necessarily always correct to play 39 cards with Upstart Goblin, but this deck in particular, you really want to see Alistair. So you want to play minimum card size, but there's plenty of other like Dragoon based decks I've been messing around with where I actually don't stick to the 39 card minimum, which is like I generally try to do that in every deck I play aside from Dragon Link. But I think the engine requirements of the Red Eyes package kind of overrides that, and Dragoon is too absurdly good of a card to pass up on. Like I feel like as long as Dragoon is a thing, like the best deck is something that can probably abuse it. So yeah. But yeah, that's the main deck. 40 cards. Extra deck. Invoked package is just the standard 2 Makaba, 1 Agoides, and 1 Purgatrio. Agoides is probably the least needed of this. Honestly, Purgatrio doesn't really come up too much often either, because in the situations where I can make Purgatrio, sometimes I just murder people with Dragoon anyway. Agoides is probably like the most niche one, and for a while I'd cut it for Selene, but I don't feel like the deck needs to climb with Selene. Like it should be able to make access code pretty easily even without Selene. And Selene required I played Effect Veiler for me to be like really comfortable with it. Like it required a main Effect Veiler, and I just didn't want to do that. But yeah, like this is just standard stuff. If I was playing Super Poly, I'd probably also play Elysium, but I'm not sure how good Super Poly is right now, especially because like a lot of combo decks can end on Dragon Buster, and that just shuts out Super Poly. And I just like for dealing with Dragoon, I just feel like Droplet and Tactics are better cards. Yeah. And then the One Dragoon. As soon as we lose Linkross, I'll probably like focus on playing 2 of these. But I was even testing with my friend for like the build without Linkross, and like sometimes the second Dragoon came up, but a lot of the times the game ended before I ever needed it. So I'm not even sure if the second Dragoon is needed. But it's something to keep in mind. Herald and Metal Marcher, and then to complement that is Alka-Fibrax and Linkross. So the first fiber is to just make the Herald, and then the second fiber is if like the game continues beyond that, you just climb into access code to win. If you can't, like if you need to just get that power. Verte Anaconda to summon Dragoon. Linkuriboh. Again, I put this in when I put in Arborea, because like the thing I liked about the strongest hands are the ones where like I might have like Adhara, Lamia, and Alistair. So I'm like, okay, so I summon the Adhara, and then I summon Alistair. If something happens to the Alistair, like if they Gamma it, I'll have the Lamia to continue and still Needle Fiber. So the problem I hit with the same situation, but say replace Lamia with Arborea, is that if I summon Adhara and then I summon Alistair and it's Gamma, I can't summon the Arborea. So that's where Linkuriboh came in, is just like, okay, so now I can turn the Adhara or the Lamia, whatever it is, into Linkuriboh, and then summon Arborea and then make Fiber. And once I did that, I just immediately put Arborea in, and it's been very useful. When I was playing Magician's Souls, there were also sometimes hands where I would end on Linkuriboh, and that would protect Herald of the Arc Light. That might be something to consider again, just because like one issue with this is that like Herald is unprotected, but if my opponent has to commit to just like attacking the Herald, I'm already pretty far ahead, because then it like kind of guarantees I just don't die. And then they still have to deal with Makaba and Dragoon, so it's something to think about. But like there was only like maybe one instance today where I had a problem with Herald just being run over. Otherwise it really wasn't a big deal. Yeah, and then last cards are Almirage and Secure Gardena. I don't really ever often use Secure Gardena as material, but it's just like this makes it so that Alistair by himself is a play. So I just feel like you just need to play it. And then Access Code Dogger. Yeah. And then side deck, pretty standard stuff at this point, I would say. Pankratops, 3 Veiler for combo, 3 Nibiru for combo. Some people I've talked to are like, oh, I don't feel like Nibiru is that good because like it doesn't stop combo by itself. But like really, outside of like some situations with Gamma, no hand trap is gonna stop combo by itself. So you need to draw the hand traps in pairs, which is why like between main and side I have 15 of them. And Nibiru paired with any other hand traps just fucking brutal. So like I do think he's still really, really important to play. 3 Lightning Storm. I just feel like this is mostly for Dogmatica and like rogue back row decks, but Lightning Storm is just kind of just good across the board and just has random fringe usefulness that even with like the downturn of like super heavy back row decks, I would not feel comfortable cutting this card. So yeah, 2 Evenly Matched also for Dogmatica. I like this more than Cosmic Cyclone. Like, I know Cosmic Cyclone is really good against Eldritch, but Cosmic Cyclone being a 1-for-1 trade is something that to me just feels incredibly average, and I would rather just play Evenly Matched because it's just a bigger blowout. So yeah. And then the last card I decided was Solemn Judgment. This is because I was like kind of afraid of Droplet and Dark Ruler no more, so Solemn Judgment just gave me a way to answer those cards that could like potentially break my board. So yeah, it didn't really come up at all today. I don't think I drew it, but I really like the idea behind it. So yeah. And like, it was either this or a pointer, and I think Solemn Judgment is better because a pointer can't really stop Droplet unless you have Herald backing it up. So I don't know. Judgment just felt overall better, I feel. But it's like, basically, once you set up the board, you want to protect Dragoon, who is also protecting other things, and then like Solemn Judgment helps protect that. So yeah, it's very much like, it's a combo deck, but it's also a protect the castle deck. Like, once you get Dragoon, you don't want to lose it because he's also like kind of a win condition. But yeah, let me explain like the basic combo. Like, it's pretty simple. So basically, like, Needle Fiber by itself will get you Herald and Dragoon, and then Alistair will get you more than that. So let's just say you have like Arborea and, I'm doing this with one hand, Alistair. So you summon Alistair, you search Invocation, and then in this case, like, you just need to get the other two on the board. So the one in this situation, you would just make Almirage, and then you would summon Arborea. Here, if you want to, if you have like Gamma in your hand, you can actually activate Invocation now to make the Makaba early. And if you do that, then all of your fiber plays are safe for the most part. But if not, then you just proceed normally. So you link these into fiber, wherever he is. Yeah, this is really hard with one hand. So you link in the fiber. Fiber summons a tuner from deck, so you summon Gamma because he's a level 2. The other thing I really like about this combo is that it doesn't need Olion. Like, you just don't need that extra body. So you can do this with just Gamma. And when I'm going first, even if I'll side out, like, I'll side out Emergency Teleport and 2 of the Gammas in Driver, but I'll keep one of the Gammas in just to summon. Yeah, so you turn the fiber into Linkross, wherever he is. Linkross summons 2 tokens. The first token and the Gamma make Martial Metal Marcher. Marcher revives any tuner in your graveyard. It can, if you don't have another one in your graveyard, it can be Gamma, it can be Arborea, it doesn't really matter. You just need to revive a body. And then Marcher and the second token make Herald of the Arclight. And then here, the Gamma and the Linkross make Vertan Anaconda. And then if you haven't Makaba'd yet, you play Invocation, you banish the Gamma and the Alistair, which makes Makaba over here. And then Vertan Anaconda just sends the Red Eyes Fusion, which banishes the Dark Magician and the Red Eyes Black Dragon because Herald of the Arclight is on the board. And you summon Dark Dragoon, and then you just Invocation back the Alistair. So your ending board is, like, uninterrupted. Your ending board is Makaba, Herald of the Arclight, Dragoon, Vertan Anaconda, and then you have Alistair and 3 other cards in your hand. And I don't know, that just seems really good to me. And if your opponent only has 1 hand trap, then you're probably, like, they're probably going to hit Alistair because he just does so much for the deck. So, like, you still have this, and this is still really powerful, especially if your opponent had to, like, waste a card, and then you still end on this. So yeah, it worked out really well. I really like it a lot. If we lose Linkross, then it becomes a little weaker because then you can't use Herald of the Arclight. But like, Invoked Dragoon can still end on that, and that's still a pretty powerful board. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a lot more fun than the crap I've been playing for the past couple weeks. So yeah. Yeah, that's all with this video. Hope you guys liked it, and thanks for watching YouTube, and we'll see you next time.